we just had clarification from the IRS on the EV tax credits. Of course, the big, beautiful bill came in and it has ended a lot of EV tax credits, a lot of green initiatives that were in the original tax code before. This does include, of course, the EV tax credit for new and used vehicles. On September 30th, those are supposed to end, and you may have seen articles from a number of publications saying the tax credit has been extended. That's technically not true, but there are some situations where you may actually be able to qualify for this tax credit well beyond September 30th, which is supposed to be the end date for these tax credits. I'm going to break down all of this for you today. It's a little bit convoluted, but I assure you it's not as complicated as it may sound. I'm going to share that all with you today, what this means for you, and possibly what Tesla's going to do in response. So make sure you stick around at the end. There's a lot to unpack here, and if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We are so close to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot wait to hit that milestone thanks to so many of you. Enough about that. Let's dive into the details. So first and foremost, I want to start here on the IRS website. This was clarification we just got about a week ago from the IRS, and it's to give additional guidance so people understand specifically what happens next. We are just around the corner of September, meaning these tax credits are coming to a close. And based on which tax credit you are looking for, they have outlined what that expiration date is. Now, of course, the new Clean Vehicle Tax Credit was part of 30D, and this does indeed end on September 30th. So that's the last day that you can qualify for that tax credit. However, when you go down to our frequently asked questions number 2, for the purposes of section 25E 30D, which is the EV tax credits, and 45W, a vehicle is acquired as of the day a written binding contract is entered into and a payment has been made. A payment includes a nominal down payment or a vehicle trade-in. Now, of course, you're not going to trade your vehicle in before you take delivery of the new car. And what exactly is a nominal down payment? Well, the good news is this: a nominal down payment does include the $250 order fee from Tesla. So when you order a new Tesla, this $250 order fee, that is included in the nominal down payment. A nominal down payment is not the traditional larger down payment that you will be doing later. This, though, will qualify. So when you do place that $250 order, you will have a form from Tesla. That is your order sheet. That is a binding contract. Both of those things in combination of each other, they then mean that is under the acquired date, meaning by September 30th. So if you order a car on September 30th of this year and you place your $250 order fee, you're golden, you're covered. You will qualify for that tax credit, assuming your other qualifications are in place. This is kind of a big deal because you don't have to take delivery by September 30th. Now you can actually take delivery well into October, November, December, whatever it may be. You can still qualify for this tax credit as long as you place that order on September 30th. There's an important piece to this, and that is when we look at the qualifications. Of course, the qualifications themselves have not changed. You still are capped at an income of $300,000 for married couples and $150,000 for individual filers. However, the thing that matters here is, in order to get that tax credit, it is actually technically not refundable, meaning you have to have tax liability to cover that $7,500. However, based on IRS guidance, that $7,500, there is no clawback if you transfer that to the dealer at time of purchase and you do not exceed those income caps. So if you are good on income and you transfer that credit, that full $7,500, it doesn't matter what your tax liability is. This won't be asked back at time of filing your taxes. However, if on October 1st, Tesla decides they don't want to process these through the IRS portal any longer or at some future date, you will have to file for this $7,500 during your taxes, in which case your tax liability will matter. So you will need that $7,500 in tax liability to be able to claim it. Of course, qualified vehicles, there are some other qualifications here, but what we are talking about for Tesla vehicles, we're talking the Model 3, the Model Y, and the Cybertruck in at least its rear-wheel drive or dual motor configurations. Those vehicles are qualified for the tax credit. That's the $7,500. It is the full amount that each of those are qualified for. Now, the thing is, when we look at Tesla's inventory, which I'm going to switch over here now, when it comes to Model Y, there's 175 of them in the country right now. And in my area, there's 10 of them, but 9 of those are in transit, and the only one that exists on site is a demo. And we still have a full month ahead of us. The point is, it's going to be really hard to get these vehicles as we get closer to the end of September. After September 30th, all bets are off. We don't know exactly what happens, and what will Tesla do about pricing? We don't know. Now, if you are going to take delivery before the end of September, here's what you're looking at for the offers. They haven't really changed much. They've actually gotten a little bit worse than they were before on Model Y, and they've gotten a little bit better on some of the other models. Of course, that $7,500 lease incentive is available for all models, including S, including X. So that $7,500 basically gets applied on the back end, and it helps lower your payment. That $1,000 for American Heroes, that actually also now includes first responders, teachers, and students. That is done through ID.me. That's how they verify your status for that $1,000, and it's all automatic. You can still transfer full self-driving from an existing vehicle. You actually don't even have to trade that vehicle in. You can take the license on one of your vehicles and apply it to a new purchase. All new vehicles do come with 1 month of full self-driving for free, and you can subscribe to that at a later time if you so choose. And then you get a free month of premium connectivity with the purchase of any Model Y or Model 3. And it's actually 1 year for Cybertruck, which is pretty cool. On the Model 3 specifically, of course, that $7,500 tax credit, but 0% up to 60 months, which is a good deal. But that does require the purchase or transfer of full self-driving. Without it, it's 2.99% on that same 60 months. Lease special is now $299 a month with $3,000 down for 24 months, and that is what we're looking at for the Model 3. The Model Y, the same $7,500 tax credit point of sale. The lease special is $399 a month for 36 months with $3,000 down, and then you can get 60 months, 3.99% APR, so much higher than it is over on the Model 3. There's no buy full self-driving, get 0% available on the Model Y. The tax credit is available for Cybertruck, again, for rear-wheel drive and dual motor. You can get 0% financing for 60 months when you transfer or purchase full self-driving. Without the purchase, it would be 2.99, much like the Model 3. New lease prices $699 a month for the all-wheel drive Cybertruck. So not even the stripped down one. $699 a month, $5,000 down, and that's 36 months. Now, if you want the Cyber Beast, it only now comes with this quote Lux package, which means it comes with full self-driving, 4 years of premium connectivity, supercharging for free, and premium connectivity. And those things are not an option if you want the Cyber Beast. It's actually increased the price of the Cyber Beast, but then they give you all of this. If you find an inventory vehicle, they will give you the 20-inch Cyber Wheel upgrade for free. This is actually a good deal. Cyber Wheels look so much better than the base ones, and you get 1 year of free supercharging. Over on the Model S and X, the brand new refresh-ish Model S and X both come with the Lux package, much like on the Cybertruck. And then the previous generation, 2025 and earlier, new inventory, you'll get 1 year of free supercharging and 1 free upgrade. So on Model S, maybe it's the wheels. Model X, maybe it's the 6-passenger interior for no additional cost. So now the question is, what happens next? And we don't really know. It's going to be really hard to figure out. But in the short term, between now and September 30th, I think that incentives are pretty much where they're going to be. We might see something special on maybe the Model 3 or maybe some of the higher trims of other vehicles, but certainly not going to see much different than what we have right now. That said, there is a chance, and there's rumors all over the place, that Model Y pricing might go up. And from a business perspective, I would actually agree with that. Raising the price of Model Y by $1,000 since they can't deliver with the demand that they have right now might make a little bit of sense, because come October 1st, there's this not necessarily true, but certainly appearance of $7,500 increase when that tax credit goes away. So if they're able to maintain demand and increase the price $1,000 a week, or maybe $1,000 now and another $1,000, that's $2,000 less that they've got to account for with the loss of that $7,500. Meaning they could bring the prices right back to where they are today. That would be 2,000 of the 7,500 tax credit. I'm not saying I like that, but as a business, that makes a lot of sense. I think that that is a real possibility. Seeing Model Y get a little bit of a jump in prices, even on inventory, there's no discounts except for on some demos, and the demo model discounts, they're a couple $100, so nothing crazy. But like I told you before, in my area, there are 10 available on the website in inventory, and 9 of those are in transit. The only one that physically exists right now is a demo model, and it's like $700 off or something. So incentives are not going to get better for Model Y, and expect to see a lot of movement in this last month of the tax credit. That is a dead stop date, not a phase out. October 1st, it is gone. If you have ordered your car before October 1st, you're golden as long as you personally qualify. Then it'll just be a matter of, will Tesla continue to utilize the portal after September 30th to give it to you at point of sale, or will you have to wait for your taxes and then collect it at that point? So this is kind of what we're looking at for the rest of the quarter. What are your thoughts? I think that it's going to be impossible to get a Model Y on the last week of September. That's just my guess based on all of this. I think Model 3 is going to be hit and miss depending on your area, but it's going to be a pretty busy month for Tesla, no doubt about that. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. I thank you so much for joining us today, and I can't wait to catch you on the next one.